In the last video, we talked about these 595 chips and you know the the functionality that a shift register has and kind of how that works. One thing you might have noticed though is that this is all very dependent on that inputs and output clock, so to speak. So sure do have to hammer this button a lot. If this were inside an actual computer, there's nobody actually pushing this clock button all the time, so there must be a way to make a clock circuit to do this kind of stuff for you, right? Well, there is. And I'm not going to go into really the whole how I built this and the functionality of the chips this time, mostly because I wanted to make this video so I could break down my shift register boards because I'm not going to be needing those anymore. But I wanted to show how we can automate this clock function, and that way you don't have to have a little gremlin inside your computer just jumping on that clock button the whole time. So what we have here, I will talk really quickly about these little chips here. There's three of them in here. 1, 2, 3 are 555 timer chips, and basically they're going to give us exactly that functionality. And this circuit is a lot more complicated than it needs to be just to give us a simple clock, but like I said, I'll get into the nitty gritty of that in a different video. But basically, put the power on here, and you can see it's giving us just a nice clock pulse. And this white LED is going to be the output for our clock. So that's what this green wire over here at the end is. It's hooked right up to the LED. So this would be our clock signal coming out from our clock module here. And the reason why this is a little more complicated than it really has to be is I wanted to make two different modes here, where we've got kind of an automatic mode where it just does its own thing, or I wanted to be able to flip that, and I've got this little switch in here. It's kind of hard to get at, actually. You flip that around, and this LED on the end here just indicated the state of the switch here. So you can see we're not getting any output right now. The clock pulse thing is still doing its deal over there, but we're not getting any output because I've got this little button here so I can manually control the clock. So when I push the button, we'll use this clock here instead, my manual clock, and you can see that the output matches me pushing the button here. So I can just step the clock along, pushing the button, just like we did over here, or I can put it on my automatic mode, and it'll do it for me. And over here, I got this little potentiometer here that I can turn and vary the frequency of the clock. See, it's going faster, 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 way fast. And I turn it up all the way. It looks like it's solid, but it's just oscillating that fast that the eye can't catch it. But you can see it's shutting itself, turning itself on and off pretty darn fast. Or I could slow it way down like that. And so we can use this as a clock source for our monstrosity over here. So I'm going to try to get that hooked up quick, and we'll see if we can make it do stuff. So, like I said, I got my clock pin right here. This is just hooked up to that white LED, so it'll do whatever the LED is doing. And we just have to get in here and hook that up to the clock here. Should be that pin. And we'll give this thing some power right here and right there. And look at that. I'm not pushing the clock button at all. It's just doing that automatically using the clock source from our clock module here. And you'll see then that I can vary the clock speed. It's moving along a little faster, or we can make it go crazy fast. It's pretty cool. I could definitely not push the button that fast. Way fast. And it might, you can see it on the video, I think, a little bit. This isn't exactly solid. It's just moving that fast. Let's slow her back down. And notice we only started off with just one LED being lit up and, you know, moving across here. And somehow I ended up with a whole bunch of them. And I did not enter any input in here at all. And I think part of the reason for that is the way that I've got the QH prime, or that ninth bit output. I've got that wired back up to the input on this side in kind of a weird way. And I think what happens at these higher frequencies, that output actually gets clocked in more than once. So I think that's what's happening there. Because it doesn't seem to do that at the lower frequencies. I could let this run all day like this and it won't pick up that extra one. But if we turn this way up, wrong way. At some point, at some frequency, it ends up starting to pick up extra ones. It hasn't done it yet, I don't think. No. But when we start going crazy fast, right there, it definitely picks them up. I can see it. Well, maybe it didn't. So that's kind of wonky how that works. And I'm not sure if it's that. But yeah, at some point it does that. And it could also be from some interference with all these wires on the board and stuff like that too. Not sure, but I'm not too worried about that. This is just kind of to show that, you got some automatic clock functionality there. And I'm going to end up using this in some other stuff later on. That's why I kind of wanted to show it. But these circuits here are going to go back, be disassembled and go back in the box, and I'll be using these boards for some other stuff. So I just wanted to show how the clock works, and that it works, and we'll get into why it works and what's actually going on down here in an upcoming video.